Hello, everyone. Marp here, Mart Traz Puzzle. And boys, oh boys, do we have a test for Samson Dauda, the 2024 Mr. Olympia Samson Dauda. Just had to toss that in there. We are going to do a comparison between Phil Heath himself, maybe the best ever Phil Heath from 2013. And guys, this is basically a formality. I mean, there's no expectations of grandeur of victory for Samson Dauda. Much like the Ronnie King Coleman video, we are simply seeing how good Samson stacks up against the best of the very best. And I have to say, he did very well against King Coleman. And much like that video, we're gonna have this version here a little bit of a dubious. That's a good word. Means it's not very good, the version of Phil Heath. But all jokes aside, guys, all respect in the world goes to Phil, the gift, or as I like to call him, the doctor, PhD, Phil Heath Domination. Anyway, not even a bad version, just a little distension in the stomach, that's all. Will Samson be able to defeat that version? Well, if he can, it's still very impressive, I would suggest. And I would also suggest we should go through these poses. Samson Dauda has a dreamlike structure. And I can hear you guys now. But Mark's Max Muscle, you have missized it again. Well, I get that when I do Ronnie King Coleman videos with Samson Dauda, or with Phil Heath as well. Phil is not that short, guys. What, 5'9"? So Samson's a couple of inches. He has long legs. And you could see that when he was versus Hattie Shupin here. I mean, Hattie's upper body is about the same, probably, lengthwise, but Phil has those nice, big, long, luxurious quads. And he is a substantial height taller than Hattie. So, yeah, he'd be right in the pocket there. Almost as tall. Arms. Phil Heath has some arms. Man, oh man. Samson definitely not winning in that aspect. I want to say he's losing. Condition plus for Samson. Midsection plus for Samson. Wheels as well. Phil's got some quads from heck. I'm here to tell you. Now, here he is. Wow, Louis Marco, he made me laugh so hard. Didn't he do this one? He did the bubble triple trouble. Even Rolly had a big substantial, and I mean substantial, girth. But anyway, we'll try to ignore that. Phil, his arms, I mean, they're as good as they've ever been. And wheels as well. Who am I kidding? The guy is a sow. He is so full that he is about to burst. And there is just no way, shape, or form, guys, that Samson is losing to Phil Heath in this pose. Even the 2013, it's kind of like Nick Walker versus Samson, except even better of a physique and great arms. So it actually is close in that pose, but most certainly not close using this old rubbish. Oh, by the way, this is the battle of the gold-winning Sandows. Mooney. Go to the front lat spread, for goodness sakes. Try to keep the foolishness at a bare minimum. Although, I heard that foolishness, a little bit of foolishness, will help you live longer. Phil Heath has a narrow clavicle versus the wide clavicle of Samson Dauda. I mean, this is a dreamlike clavicle. But Phil is just full. And I mean full of this three-dimensional. I mean, there is basketballs and footballs and even soccer balls of roundness all over the place for Phil Heath. When they say three-dimensional, pictures do not do it justice, but you really can see it, even in the pictures. So separated. His muscles are getting a divorce. They're separated now. And then they're going to get a divorce later. No? Come on. Samson might not pack that type of separation, but it is worth to mention he is very dry and a very good, and I mean very good, frame, structure, things of that nature. So who's winning the front lot spread marks, Max Muscle? It's going to be one of these I'm running and hiding situations. I'll tell you who won both versions. is close, though. Phil Heath. And then, oh my goodness, he is a great big fat sow. Look at that. That is a pudding and a half. Great big dish full of pudding, too. Tupperware. Great big, one of those big orangish yellow Tupperwares, just full of pudding. He thought it was protein powder, is what happened, but it was really just rich, luxurious treat. And man, oh man, this is a big belly. Samson wins. Samson wins. Doesn't even matter. Keep the three-dimensional muscle. At least 2013, midsection was in check, and he had a pretty tight midsection compared to this whale. But anyway, very, very disrespectful. But is this not disrespectful to his fans? To come out there looking like a whale? Anyway, go to the side chest. Phil Heath, he ramps into top gear here. In all of his poses in 2013, he's ramped up. But man, oh man, from the side, Phil is good. In fact, Phil is great. If he had won one more Sandow, he would have won 8. Made him a little bit shorter here because he is bending at the knees. Phil did that, and he sat down on those hamstrings. Wow, look at that. It's a great big bun. It's a bun in the oven. I'm here to tell you. And he makes Samson's wheels. Well, I like how Samson's standing tall. Stands tall for what he believes in. But who are we kidding here? I can be nice to Samson all day long, but Phil is taking the side chest. It's just too much mounds of muscle. But yeah, personally, I would have given Samson probably both front shots, even though it's debatable in that front double. At least for 2013, Samson, easy win against 2014. Both poses. Side chest for 2014, remarkable. This is his pose. His midsection actually looks good from what I can see here. Phil Heath. And when he can hide that midsection, you get to truly appreciate the gift that this Phil Heath really was to the bodybuilding community. Even at a big man's chest, rivaling that of great big Samson. Now there is a possibility that I even missized this. Could have made Samson even bigger. But would that help? I think Phil Heath is just very dominant. That's why he's Phil Heath Domination, PhD. Side tricep. Oh my goodness. Phil is just next level stuff from the side. That's the three-dimensional thickness coming into play. From the front, a little bit narrow. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention Samson's far pack. Looks like a big mountain. Looks like the surface of the moon. Mountainous. So Phil, action, Jackson from the side. Not so much from the front. Side tricep. This is the return of the belly. Cassis belly. One little smooth midsection ruined the whole pose, doesn't it? Huh? Perhaps. But either way, I think, well, the side chest, absolutely. 2014 getting a victory. But aside from that, Samson, he's probably beaten 2014. But we haven't seen the back shots yet. Go to the rear lat 2013. Phil Heath. Hey. Lives up to his name. But Samson is nobody's fool. Look how wide he is. Phil ran into trouble with big Ramrod there one year, and It was kind of the same situation. Width of the back. But Samson's back is better than Ramy's, I would suggest. The V-taper's a little bit better. He has thicker lat insertions. And he's probably just as good from the lower half. Considering how dry those hamstrings are. Wow. Phil, he is a juggernaut. The entire physique matches everything. Everything is in proportion, symmetrical proportions. It's just quite a package. And yeah, there's no way, shape, or form, guys, that I'm going to give Samson a victory in the rear lat spread against Phil Heath 2013. Are you kidding me? And I think that's the rightful decision to make. What about the back of 2014? Not as good, not as wide. Not even nearly, actually. Surprised how much better 2013's back was than 2014. Incredible. We cannot look past that three-dimensional thickness of Phil Heath, though. He means business. But guys, I know, we get a little excited. I did the same thing with Ramrod in 2020, and now I look back and thought, well, maybe he wasn't all that great. But I am excited about this Samson Dauda physique, and I believe the more time that does go by, we will realize that we are looking at one heck of a physique here. One heck of a physique. Here is the rear double, and another shot. Samson Dauda holding his own against maybe the greatest back of all time. Look how thick Phil Heath is in the lower half. Everything, calves. I mean, those hamstrings, unbelievable. Probably just as dry or popcornery fart drier than Samson Dauda. I don't know though, Samson, he's very dry. He just does not have those glute ridges of your Phil Heath. I mean, we've known that for quite some time, but I definitely see some striations for that Samson Dauda. I just think ultimately Phil Heath would probably prevail. You can see the three-dimensional thickness in the picture. Could you imagine real life, live on stage? Look at them arms. Some of the best forearms. Just did a Flex Lewis video. Him and Phil Heath. Some of the best forearms in the business. I'm here to tell you. Here is 2014 for Phil. Fiddle. Even has good arms in that year. And hey, Samson has good arms. It's just the era that we're in. We're not in an era with the greatest arms in bodybuilding. Let's face it. But we do have some midsections. I mean, the top lineup at the Olympia all had vacuums, things of that nature. Now Phil Heath's day, it's all about the good arms, good backs. Kai Green had those big biceps. Dexter the Blade Jackson was fishing around back then. He had some world-class arms as well. But having said that, that would be an interesting topic. Different decades. Different decades for different strengths. Like calves in the 90s. Anyway, Phil still perhaps able to fend off Big Samson Dauda in the back double, even using this 2014 form. Although it is debatable, Samson is good. Here's the abs and thigh 2013. Phil Heath's best bet in this comparison. Using this one in 2014, you're guaranteed this is his best bet. Samson, this guy has improved nice and slow. Like nobody else. Like nobody else. He improved nice and slow, snuck it in there, and then boom. Those abs are bubbly. Good abs and thigh, I would suggest. He always had the framework. Phil, what can you say? He's solid. He's not too bad. He's not too bad at all. Now what about 2014? It's not as bad as I thought. Thought it was going to be way worse. I had a bunch of names set aside to call him. And which is wrong, by the way. Name calling. Should only call somebody names. If they're a millionaire, I mean, it's okay. You don't feel sorry for a millionaire. How could you? How could you feel sorry for somebody that doesn't miss meals? Somebody calling them a sow. He did look like a sow. Triple trouble, I can tell you that, but he looks pretty darn passable in this absent thigh. Let us end this foolishness with a nice, most muscular. What an odd situation this is, Phil Heath. One of the more narrow clavicles. A la Kevin Levrone, perhaps. And one of the more wide clavicles in Samson Dauda, but because of Phil's great big delt muscles, I'm not saying there's any clay in there, but man, they look oversized. They make his clavicle look pretty wide, which is impossible because he doesn't. Just look at his chest. Look at the chest width compared to Samson. Samson winning, as Louis Marco would say, all day and daily, dice to the socks. But yes, I would definitely give Phil Heath an edge in this. Look at the wheels, look at the arms. He is an impossible creature. This big lad. He is one big lad, isn't he? Huge big stud of a Buckingham Palace is Phil Heath. Now what about 2014? Is he a walrus, whale, cow patty? Well, actually, no. He looks fine. When he hides the midsection, he looks like your standard, unbeatable, and I'll say it one more time in this video, 3-dimensional, muscled up Phil. Impressive. He always is impressive. I would wager to say, anyway, that I would give an edge to Samson using the 2014 one. Come on, guys. Go look at the front double. Go look at the front lat spread. And even in the back lat spread, it was close. So, yeah, as Edward G. Robinson would say, see, some screw rather than the capaz. But 2013, obviously, it is all she wrote. It is lights out. Yeah, buddy. No Ronnie King Coleman in the video, but I like to do his impression. You know how much turkey he ate. You know how many of them gobblers lost their lives. Well, to feed all of bodybuilding, I mean, there's a lot of little chickens and stuff, too. And moo cows. Those poor moo cows. If only they weren't so tasty and crisp. Good for a couple of roasts. And, yeah, 2014. Wow. What a version. He is the Golden Sandow winner. They suggest that it's the only other one. Well, guys, I forget his name. Some Robert guy, I think, maybe. He won the great competition. He got a Golden Sandow in 1901. The Golden Sandow was 1901. Fellers, I heard you talking about it. I think it was on Fuad Obiad's podcast, maybe. Anyway, shout out to Fuad. He mentioned me one time. Samson Dauda, like I said, as time goes by, we will realize that he is no joke. And you know what? Ronnie King Coleman was what? 39 when he exploded in 2003? How old Samson's going to be next year? Anybody see a possibility there? I do. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Look forward to more comparisons and more special features as we head into this new year. Have a nice one.